Call me cynical, but it seems like most kid shows don't have entertainment as their primary goal. Shocker. They sandwich content between commercial breaks, jam-packed with toys, and often the sales pitches aren't just limited to the commercial breaks. They invade the shows themselves. I'm not talking about Fred Flintstone taking a Winston break to, peddle cigarettes. I'm talking about a whole television show designed to get products off the shelves. This trend reached a fever pitch in the 80s with shows like Transformers, He-Man, My Little Pony, Care Bears, and more gracing screens and shelves. All of these shows were successful in their own right, but toy sales were where the real money was, and companies like Mattel and Hasbro cashed in. But when Beyblade hit the scene in 1999, it brought even more to the table. Beyblade launched with a show, video game, a manga, and of course, a toy. So how exactly was the humble Beyblade chosen to be the center of a multimedia marketing blitz? Well, like so many great anime stories before it, Beyblade's origins lie thousands and thousands of years in the past. So, spinning tops are about as old as civilization itself. A nearly 5,500-year-old clay top was found in modern-day Iraq, showing that even the Mesopotamians were letting it rip. Egyptian royalty also couldn't resist the fad, as King Tut himself was buried with the tournament-banned wooden variety of Beyblades. Interesting look, King Tut. Don't know if it's better than the Black Wizard Fafnir Burst GT Gatinko. Anyhow, spinning tops were all the rage in ancient Greece as well. The Iliad brings up a spinning top with a smile, comparing Hector's reeling in the midst of battle to that of a Beyblade. And check out this Aussie Aboriginal top created from a gourd. Sick Beyblade, mate. Now, Chinese spinning tops made of bamboo are documented as having made their way over to Japan by the 10th century. Fast forward to the Edo period in the 17th century, and the Japanese had modded the toy by adding a metal core and giving a top a metal tip to add balance. These tops became known as Hakarakoma and were further gamified with the ushering in of Beigoma. Beigoma are small tops usually made from wood or steel. Their big innovation is that instead of spinning these tops by hand, players tightly wrapped a string around the top, which gave them a burst of energy when they're released. Competitors would release the Beigoma into a ring or arena to try and knock their opponent's spinning Beigomas out of bounds. Beigoma was continually modified over the years, either to spin faster and longer or to make super cool whizzing noises. They remained popular in Japan into the 20th century and are widely regarded as one of the most iconic and historically significant toys in Japanese history. So, as you can clearly see, Beyblades have always been popular for the entirety of, pretty much human history. But by the 1990s, an invention called television gained an even stronger hold on kids' attentions. After thousands of years, the magic of the humble spinning top was finally starting to fade. So, Japanese toy company Takara saw an opportunity to revitalize the Beigoma market. Before Beyblade, Takara tried a Battle Tops and Sugegoma, two toy lines that completely failed. Fortunately, employee Osamu Mashimo identified the problem and suggested a tweak that would change the world forever. At the time, Pokemon was experiencing its first boom, and players especially liked building and customizing their team with their favorite mons. Players were able to personalize and customize their experience. By comparison, Battle Tops and Sugegoma fell flat due to their lack of variability, distinction, and charm. And so, through an analysis of their failures and observation of what was working in the market, the concept for Beyblade was formed. Customizable spinning tops with unique stats that affected their combat potential. These tops would be fired Beigoma style via easy shooters and ripcords in arenas to battle other Beyblades. The name Beyblade itself is just a mashup of Beigoma and the word blade, after the plastic blades and spikes on the attack rings of the original models. I mean, you can't really get much better than that. Where many saw an unremarkable top, Takara saw a franchise with a whole lot of potential. The company began planning a multimedia extravaganza to celebrate the top's release. So, the first Beyblades hit the shelves in Japan in July 1990. The toy launched with 3 variations: Ultimate Dragoon, Saizo, and Frostic Dranzer. Each variation had unique attack rings, weight discs, and blade bases that would affect the top's attack, defense, and stamina, and weight. You could also add bit chips, which are stickers that feature bit beasts, also known in Japan as seiju. Now, what the hell is a bit beast? Well, in the Beyblade lore, bit beasts are powerful monsters that inhibit the bit chips that a blader can call to battle to assist them by powering their bay. Well, that's the mythos, but in our sad, boring world, the only stat they affected was the cool factor. But hey, that's important too, Like Pokemon before them, Beyblade toys debuted alongside a video game, Jiseirai Beigoma Battle Beyblade for the Game Boy Color. The game follows Takao, an elementary school Beyblader searching far and wide, battling to become the very best blader in the world. Along the way, the player upgrades their skill in a true JRPG-like fashion by collecting Beyblade parts and bit beasts. Also, in-game bit beasts do a bit more than just look cool. They also unlock in-game attacks. And if all of this sounds a heck of a lot like Pokemon, then you won't be surprised to learn that Takao's character design was modeled after Red himself, with Kai modeled after Blue. But a simultaneous toy and video game release wasn't enough for Takara, who had also planned to release the Bakuton Shoot Beyblade manga that September. They commissioned mangaka Takao Aoki to adapt the game for monthly publication in CoroCoro Comics. Aoki was able to take liberties with the story, transferring the general plot and only a few characters from the game to page. Ultra-confident protagonist Takao Kinomiya, also known as Tyson in the US, made the leap, as did his mentor and older brother Hiro, and the ambitious and ruthless Kai Hiwatari. The manga helped move more Beyblade toys, and production on a corresponding anime began. So the blades kept spinning, churning out a second Game Boy Color game in August of 2000, Beyblade Fighting Tournament. Players could purchase the latest Beyblade toys to get codes that unlocked bit beasts in the game. Also, the plot developments of the manga closely followed that of Beyblade Fighting Tournament, as the games were still determining the direction of the blossoming franchise. On January 8th, 2001, the anime Bakuton Shoot Beyblade, translated as Explosive Shoot Beyblade, was finally released in Japan. The first series season consisted of 51 episodes and was produced by one of the powerhouses, Studio Madhouse, already famous for classics like Trigon, Beck, Death Note, Redline, Perfect Blue, Paprika, and so much more. Now, these 51 episodes were based on the manga, but expanded the world greatly. Beyblade's popularity finally exploded with the success of this well-produced, high-quality anime. Mwah. Both toy sales and Beyblade tournament entrants in Japan spiked, and soon the Beyblade phenomenon would go beyond Japan. Fun fact, did you know that Transformers, those robots in disguise, are originally from Japan? You see, Transformers were a combo of Microman and Diaclone, which are two toy lines from the toy company Takara, now called Takara Tomy. Now, why am I telling you the history of Transformers all of a sudden? Well, you see, Hasbro bought some of the rights, transformed those toys into Transformers, and 20 years after the success, Hasbro was eager to continue their partnership with Beyblade. You see, that's why I told you the quick history of Transformers. You're welcome. Now, like Pokemon, the franchise already had a successful television show that could be released alongside the toys. Unlike Japanese audiences who were introduced to the Beyblade games and then the manga and then the anime, the rest of the world would meet Beyblades for the first time through the anime, which had been licensed by Nelvana. Beyblade premiered in America on ABC Family in July 2002, and Hasbro had the toys waiting on the shelf. Let It Rip had finally entered the American lexicon as Beyblade quickly became the new sensation. Like with many anime western adaptations of the time, Beyblade was edited and censored to downplay violence and more adult themes for a more sensitive North American audience. This didn't seem to affect the popularity or general critical reception as Beyblade boomed in the US. Also, by the end of 2002, the Beyblade PlayStation 1 video game was localized to become the first Beyblade video game release in North America. While Beyblade debuted in America, Japan got the sequel series titled Bakuton Shoot Beyblade 2002, alongside a new line of MagnaCore engine Beyblades equipped with magnet-enhanced modifications. Anime production was transferred over to Nippon Animation, leading to a new art style that more closely mirrored the manga. The similarities stopped there though, however, as the series caught up to the manga's production, and so it suffered a fate familiar to any anime fan. The new series felt like a filler. The focus shifted from high-stakes tournament to a moodier plot about prophesized Armageddon at the hand of Bit Beasts. Also, there was some CGI thrown in for the Beyblade battles that some people say hasn't aged super well, but I think they look fine. The clang clang. Bakuten Shoot Beyblade 2002 was not well received in Japan, and the series decline began. However, the show had a warmer reception in America as Beyblade V-Force the following year in 2003. Beyblade had yet to tackle the medium of film, so August 2002 saw the Japanese release of a Bakuten Shoot Beyblade, the movie, Gekito Takao vs. Daichi. The non-canon feature was a home release based on the manga. After season 2 and the movie, Bakuten Shoot Beyblade G-Revolution ran on TV Tokyo throughout 2003, still produced by Studio Nihon Animedia and carrying over the previous series' art style. However, G-Revolution learned from past mistakes, reverting back to largely tournament-driven plot lines, all while introducing new Beyblade toy lines, starting with the spring-powered engine gear system and later hard metal system. Now, as we all know, metal beats plastic every time. Also, we know that steel is heavier than feathers. Anyhow, the metal Beyblades were obviously overpowered and incompatible with previous models in battle. I gotta say, that's some evil genius level marketing, You're like a little kid, and then all of a sudden some kid comes in with metal Beyblades and just kicks your ass. G-Revolution was much better received in Japan than the previous year's filler series, but damage was ultimately done. It was pretty clear the series would never regain its initial popularity. The manga and anime both ceased production in Japan by 2004, with the toys following suit shortly thereafter. America enjoyed G-Revolution as Beyblades in Japan kinda died out, finally getting the movie in 2005. The film was completely torn apart by critics upon its release, but is still vehemently defended by loyal fans. Unfortunately, without any new releases, toys or otherwise, Beyblade lost momentum. In 2006, Takara agreed to a landmark merger with Tomy, merging Japan's second and third largest toy companies respectively into one fun-producing corporate giant, trailing behind only to Bandai Namco Holdings Inc. In 2008, Takara Tomy announced that Beyblades would be rebooted with a whole new generation of manga, anime, and toys known as Metal Fight Beyblade, later released as Beyblade Metal Fusion in the US. The tops themselves evolved from the hard metal system into the performance top system, complete with fusion wheel, performance tip, and more. Mangaka Tafumi Adachi penned a brand new story with a unique plot and characters. The new story focused on Ginka Hagane and his noble quest to thwart the Dark Nebula Empire while uncovering the secrets of his past. The new anime premiered on TV Tokyo in April of 2006, with the Nelvana dub making its way over to America on Cartoon Network in 2010. Metal Fusion sequel series Metal Fight Explosion, localized to Metal Masters, followed immediately, introducing the flashier Extreme Top system. Next came Metal Fight Beyblade 4D or Metal Fury, along with the 4D Beyblade system, representing different material, divided wheels, dynamic moves, and deep custom. The series was once again given a soft reboot with a flash forward and a new protagonist, Zairo Kurogane, for Metal Fight Beyblade Zero G. This became Beyblade Shogun Steel in America, premiering a year later on Cartoon Network like the other Metal series seasons. Beyblade took another hiatus before resurfacing in its current iteration of Beyblade Burst in 2015. The burst comes from the fact that the toys literally burst open while in the throes of battle. A manga written by Hiro Morita began serialization in August, while its anime series premiered in 2016. The new saga stars wide-eyed Vault Aoi and his quest to rise in the ranks of the Beyblade tournament scene, and the series has been going strong ever since the yearly follow-ups of Beyblade Burst Evolution, Beyblade Burst Turbo, Beyblade Burst Rise, and the current Beyblade Burst surge. All series have been subsequently released for American audiences on Disney XD. The competitive community is also healthy, thriving, and continues to grow. A huge part of that has to do with the World Beyblade Organization by Fighting Spirits Incorporated. World Beyblade Organization, huh? WBO. Got it. This massive online community is non-profit and has helped organize over 1,000 Beyblade tournaments since 2008. 2019 alone saw approximately 120 tournaments organized throughout the world. Not only is the WBO the prime resource for bladers looking for a place to compete, but the active discussion forums are also the perfect place for newcomers and veterans alike to share tips, strategies, customizations, you name it. Modern tournaments are primarily divided between metal and burst disciplines, though there is still some interest in classic plastics. The WBO even keeps track of global scores and rankings, with top ranker Blader K currently maintaining first in burst category and second in metal. Goddamn K, good job. So, 20 long years of toys, anime, movies, and video games gives a lot of time for the most serious bladers to really build a collection. Some of the most impressive Beyblade collections I've found have over 1,000 bays. With Beyblades becoming increasingly nostalgic and classic, Beyblades and their accessories have grown in value on the online collection market. And Beyblade continues to find a way of staying in the general public's vernacular and consciousness. I'm sure, like me, you recently found the world's largest Beyblade destroys a house by I Did a Thing in your YouTube recommendations. That kind of viral staying power is priceless. And I have no doubts that Takara Tomy and Hasbro will keep this spinning top in America for many, many years to come. Hopefully another couple of decades. Who knows? Let it rip forever, I guess. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video and learning the history of Beyblades and the long history of people just letting it rip. I'm Tim Lu, host of Crunchyroll and some guy. If you like this video, why not subscribe? You know, why not click the other little links that pop up, the rectangles in the circle. Click all of that. Click it all. Yeah, I'm fading out. I gotta spend 28 seconds talking stuff because the end card's 20 seconds. Fun YouTube fact. See you next time. Hopefully next video will be all real life Tim. So yeah, this might be the end of Annie Tim. Damn. Anyhow, bye-bye now. Yeah, get the hell out of here.